Pisces, ascendant Pisces, rising. This is G. What in the world is going on, right? All right, let's get down to business. We've got to talk about Jupiter. We've got to talk about Mars. We've got to talk about Pluto. We're going to talk about what they mean when they all start to get right on top of each other, which they're going to do March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. We're going to feel a concentration of Capricorn energy. Now, to better understand this, we got to dive deep, right? And it's going to be what happens when Jupiter gets close to Pluto? What happens when Mars gets close to Jupiter? What happens when Mars gets close to Pluto? What happens when all three of them are together? Where is this in your chart? It's in the Capricorn energy, okay? That's all we seem to be talking about. All of 2019 and 2020, it's where the eclipses happen, Cancer and Capricorn. And Capricorn has all these planets down here. All right. At the same time, the moon's nodes were in both of these places. Folks, I want you to do me a favor. Remember who you are. If you are alive right now, if you are watching this channel, if you are a subscriber, or if you are about to be a subscriber, first of all, thank you for watching. But more importantly, you are right where you belong. There is something here that you need to hear. There is a reason we're together. Remember who you used to be. You are not your personality. You really are your soul. Pisces, you know better than anybody else that we are all one. I have a Pisces listener out there who is an avid commenter, so big ups to you. You know who you are. You have got all that stuff in your 12th house, and you operate like a real Piscean human being, you know, which is, they get it. They're in the flow of the energy, and so they feel when stress is happening in the world, they're feeling the anxiety. Pisces are extremely energetically sensitive people. So Pisces ascendant, Pisces rising. I'm going to give you an overview of the craziness, of the chaos. I'm going to release another video. If I haven't released it yet, it's already been recorded. It's a pretty short one. It's Miss A and I together talking about the energies that contribute to the COVID-19 experience. But in truth, in reality, let's just go ahead and dive deep for more truth and more reality into the all astrology. Mars conjunct Jupiter. This happens on March 17th. Today I'm recording this, it's March 16th. So on March 17th, we start to feel Mars, which is action. Mars is the soldier. When I say Mars is the soldier, I want you to keep this in mind only because we already know, right? It makes sense. So we got some people screaming things that are kind of fearful, like, okay, it's, you know, martial rule and stuff like that. And people don't, you know, people hear terms, they don't really know what they mean. But Mars, in a small scale, is one soldier. It's the Marine. But on a large scale, it's the military. And I'm bringing this up because Jupiter expands things. So when Jupiter and Mars come together, most likely, don't be surprised if you see assertive actions on a grand scale, which we're already seeing it. We're already feeling it. And that would be Saturn. Okay, that's Saturn at 20. Actually, Saturn's at 29 degrees in Capricorn, and it is going to go to 0 degrees Aquarius. That happens 22nd of March. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. You know, that's why I wanted to get the new moons and the full moon videos done so that outside of the craziness in the exterior part of the world, you could individually focus on what your intentions, where your greatest strength would be using the energy, being the metaphysician and understanding where your power really is. But at this time, understanding these outer things that are happening. And to keep in mind, the outer planets happen on a global level. They are things in which generations were born under because they're slow-moving planets. Pluto, the slowest mover of them all. We are experiencing Pluto in action, people. And we don't normally get to feel that or to really, really see it. We feel it in our lives when things end and new things begin. That's Pluto, right? An old thing must go for this new thing to come along. And on the global scale, we're beginning to see the beginning of the end so that there can be a beginning. Because the whole thing, when we talk about Pluto, ultimately its change is so that we can bring about change for the better, for our future. So you have to concentrate on the big picture, okay? Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Rising, all this Capricorn stuff is happening typically in your house number 11, okay? This is your social circle. This is groups. This is internet. This is where you gather with other like-minded individuals. It's your tribe, okay? Some people throw their friends right into that bucket, okay? It can be a mixture of those things. I would need to know where is Saturn in your chart, because then that would be more specific for you. If you're new here, just comment your birth info below, and I can go ahead and check that out for you. Ask your question. Now, let's try to get a grip on all this. I'm going to list off some stuff for you. Pallas Athena is the female strategist. She's the general in charge, 22 degrees Capricorn. Mars, who is the soldier, 2352 in Capricorn. Jupiter, who expands things, who is also about freedom, who adds to things, is at 2302 in Capricorn. This is roughly on the 22nd of March, by the way. But these energies are very prevalent by the 20th of March, and I'll break that down a little bit further for you. Pluto, 2442 Capricorn, Saturn, 2959 Capricorn. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in Capricorn. I didn't mention the nodes. Okay, so at that time, we're going to have the north node, or I'm sorry, the south node transiting. And the south node is now going to be at like 3.5, 4 degrees of Capricorn. I want you guys to be aware of the fact that the world axis is, in case you didn't see our video, it's all the cardinal points in your astrology chart. So in other words, 0 degrees Capricorn and 0 degrees Cancer is one world axis, okay, AXIS. The other one, okay, is the crossing axis from this one, which would be the other cardinal signs. It's the world axis. Cardinal is the beginning, okay? So like I said, Cancer, Capricorn. So on the opposite of that, that creates a T-square, or I'm sorry, a great cross, basically, that is your Libra and your Aries energy, okay? So 0 degrees of those are the world axis. And they're called that because these are signature points where if you have a planet or an angle there, typically you're going to do something. You are somehow, whatever it is, your work you do, wherever that is in your chart, again, I would need to see your personal chart to know this, it will be on a world level. I mean, that's really big. I've seen clients' charts where I've looked at and they could have something like at 0 degrees Aries. Like I'm looking at someone's chart and they have a 2 degrees Cheroklo, but it's in, well, it's in Aries, so it's conjunct the world axis. Now, the Cheroklo is a female who is supposedly the wife of Chiron, and Chiron is a healer of deep wounds, emotional wounds, which, yeah, typically are left by things that are done to the physical body because it's an Aries. So Cheroklo was the witness, was the wife, so to speak, was the one who could sit there for Chiron and help him and be present for him. And by that person in your life being present to your wounds, knowing about your wounds, and not doing the healing for you, but just by being present with you, a healing occurs. Because it's like I need strength to do something. And so just by you being with me, not even doing it for me, but just by your presence, you're very alone, that presence gives me strength, helps me to move on and to carry on. And so for Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Risings, your Aries energy is in your second house. Now, that 0 degrees mark would be considered an axis point, okay? If you have a planet there, or it could be even be on the, an angle, a significant angle would be like, your ascendant or your midheaven, your descendant, or your IC. But this video isn't really to get into that because I'm really doing this video on a more of a global scale. Okay, so this is to try to cover the greatest amount of Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Risings as possible, and to talk about the experiences we're having in the world and how the astrological timing and planetary locations, how they fit into that picture, how they make and create that picture. So Well, how about Mars and Jupiter? We'll do Mars and Jupiter first because March 17th, Mars and Jupiter get together. Now, I kind of talked about that a little bit, but it's also typically talked about as a time of beneficial timing, beneficial good luck. So there can be things that occur. If you have something that trines the 17, 18, 19, 20 degree mark in Capricorn, what you can find out is that all of a sudden there's an ease that got created in your life. This could be by money. This, I would need to know where that happens. But what I can tell you is that if you are a Pisces ascendant, Pisces rising, typically your earth houses, because that's what we're talking about, Capricorn is an earth energy, you'll have Taurus in your third house, okay? Third house is communication, thinking, speaking. It is also social media. It is my neighbors. It is siblings. It is people that you work with. It's coworkers. It is, it's how we we sell, right? That's in speaking. But it's commerce, it's business, okay? It's trade. So it's areas in your life that fit into that, okay? Your other earth energy, I should say, is going to be your Virgo energy. I'm staring down at this thing because my mind is honestly scattered. It's going to be in your 7th house, okay? Now, the 7th house is significant one-on-one relationships. It's business partnerships. It can be people that you relate to in a way one-on-one, which is counselors or counseling, if you're the counselor. It is also how we relate to the public. Okay, people that you meet in your everyday interactions. And so that's where you have your Virgo energy, which means in a very practical, down-to-earth way, which means I talk to you and I feel like I have some information I can give you and it's going to be a how to do something because that's Virgo, how to. Virgo is the troubleshooter of the zodiac, okay? Pluto conjunct Mars on the 20th, roughly, all right? We start to feel it for those that are sensitive. Pluto is deep, it is powerful, it is transformational, it is soul. It represents healing, global healing, okay? This is a quantum leap because this is a time where we are all going to elevate our consciousness together. And there's no way to elevate consciousness together but by have a common experience together. And this is it. This is it. We'll see what comes, what byproducts there are from this. But when we elevate together, when we elevate as a group, there is an experience that we have as a group. And globally, we're seeing that, that is this. So advancements, not technical advancements, but soul advancements, all right? A growth that occurs through change, through sweeping changes, I might add. Now, this is pretty deep. This is pretty serious. But the whole purpose of all this is to remember who you are on a soul level. It is time to let your soul take over. Let the personality step back and let the soul be in control. Now, who I am as G may not appeal to you, but let me speak to you soul to soul. Okay? Let me go deeper than the heart level, right? Let me go right down to the root of who you are. Remember the unity. Remember, let's check your 3rd house. That's how you think. And then we'll check your 9th house. That's how you believe. So your 3rd house has Taurus there, right? So how you communicate and how you think, there may be things about it you're very confident about. You're very sure. You value thinking. You value communication. There may be things about the way that you communicate. Others may look at you and think you're kind of slow or different, right? Because Taurus tends to be that stubborn bull. So you can be very fixed in thoughts at times. What we're doing is learning how to elevate that. Uranus is going through your house, your 3rd house, all right? Now, again, Uranus is like at 4 degrees going on 5 degrees of Taurus, okay? If you have planets or points there, this is really shaking up your world. This is like this major wake-up call, this major alarm clock going off. But remember, Taurus is ruled by Venus, so it's all about our values. And wow, I could make a toilet paper joke right now, but I won't waste my time on that. So just keep in mind that your thinking, there may be things about your thinking and the way that you communicate that are changing, that need to be changed, okay? And you're going to be experiencing those changes. So you have to learn to allow your old thoughts to be shattered and to create new thoughts. And I want you, Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Rising, you've got Taurus there. I don't know if you know this, but the sign of Taurus The eye of the bull, the constellation, there's this fixed star there. And it is at the eye of the bull. And the whole point of that, Taurus, there's a thing about Taurus energy, when it's really elevated, it is very deeply spiritual. It connects. Some associate the sign of the Taurus energy to the Christ, okay? Because there is this, I am bringing you the light. I am showing you the light. There is that whole esoteric definition that comes into play here. So if this is in your third house of thinking and speaking and communication and selling, right? It's not about make someone believe your religious beliefs. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about hope. This is about putting a light upon others' paths during a time of darkness. This is about you're in a totally blackened room. There's no electricity. Can you generate your own light? This is about you being the light. This is what you were born to do. This is the time. We were all laying dormant. We were all waiting for this. If you're listening to this channel, you're one of these people. This is the moment. This is why we're here. We didn't know what it was going to be, but we knew that when it happened, we would recognize it. And this is that. It is time to stand up. It is time to spread light. Mars conjunct Pluto. I have to talk about it because Mars is the ego, all right? When it gets connected with Pluto, it becomes extremely powerful. The ego actually takes on a whole nother level. The tendency and the caution with this is to be very careful. There could be violent disruptions. Now, this is not to, get you all freaked out. It's just saying that you could be the one doing that in your own life. When we talk about Mars and Pluto, this is going to be in your Capricorn energy. This is in your 11th house. This is friends. This is internet. So what you're going to want to do is be very careful with yourselves and who you're communicating with, how you're communicating, right? Because we're all getting, we have an election coming up, and I myself find myself doing the same thing, getting very verbal and feeling like enough is enough. I got to say something about this, right? Hello, Taffy. So we're all, at this time when March 20th comes, Mars conjunct Pluto, you want to be aware. And you want to use this energy. It's a very powerful time. This is one of those rafts and lifeboats that are in the ocean with us, right? It's here. It's a tool. It's for us to use. But the thing is to not use it for your own benefit, okay? I got this right here. You have to work for the best for all involved. When you have Mars combined with Pluto, it gives you the ability to do heavy work. Heavy work especially created to make major changes. Heavy work to handle major changes. This is what Mars conjunct Pluto is. And it's happening March 20th. A few days before, and of course a few days after. And I'll keep doing videos as I can to further explain all this as the time goes on. Because it's, March, the second half of March is very complex. But the overall message is we are learning how to make changes, how to experience sweeping changes in our life. And these sweeping changes, there could be people, lots of conversion experiences happening because people get very fearful, so they're going to want to latch onto something, right? At this time, understand that these sweeping changes are here to make positive changes that are going to make our life richer, more fuller for our future, for the long term. Okay, so even though it seems very scary, because just in general, we experience change as being frightful, especially when we don't know the anxiety, right? But we do know. The bigger picture of all this is our evolution. The bigger picture of all this is to grow as humanity, all right? That, there's only one race, the human race, right? And then recognizing outside of that, sentient beings, right? Somebody had a post on Facebook, and it was like this ET-looking character saying, and this is why the government won't share with you about other life forms. And then next to it was, the whole toilet paper hoarding thing. And anyway, so there's truth in it, though. Now, something I also want to mention really quickly, I know I'm getting way past the time that I wanted to talk, but be aware of that at this time, your actions 100% reflect who you are as a human being. Now, I realize that this is always every day in our life. But at this time, when we're all experiencing these energies, these extreme changes, looking out for someone other than yourself, right? Thinking about the group, in your community, in your family, okay? This is going to be big. This is going to be, this is how we elevate together. We come to this point where we realize, I can't be the hoarder. I can't hold on to everything. I've got to learn to share. And that when we lift each other up, when we offer each other a hand, right, we elevate because we see more than just ourselves. We see beyond our nose, so to speak. Now, I am going to explain that at the end of the month of March, I want you to be aware that we have Mars becoming conjunct with Saturn, okay? And when Mars gets conjunct with Saturn, you're going to start feeling this on the 27th. You're going to start feeling, because Saturn restricts things. Saturn's job, people, Saturn's job is to create structure, right? To build the building in which all the people work in. It's a structure. So you could also say that it builds containers or walls. Saturn's job is to restrict. It doesn't let things go. It sees a whole bunch of stuff and it gathers it all up and it says, oh, let me put this together here in this one area. That's Saturn's job. It's to somehow organize, to build lots of structures, to organize within the chaos. So when Mars gets conjuncted, Mars likes to move very fast and is impulsive and, well, likes to move, period. It's very physical. Saturn restricts movement. We are already experiencing it. However, because Mars and Saturn do get closer, according to the energy, there will be limitations, more limitations. Knowing this in advance will help you, right? It will be very irritable and frustrating. It requires a mastery of disciplined energy at this time. So keep this in mind, disciplined energy. Okay, so Pisces, Ascendant Pisces rising, that's all in your 11th house. 11th house is the house of, not just of astrology, but it is the house of advancement for humanity. It is groups. So getting together with other folks who can help us, right? You have Capricorn in your 11th house. Pisces, in a way, not to put any pressure on you, but you've got skills that we need when it comes to dealing with groups and advancements for humanity. If you don't already know that, well, I had to say it, okay? So if you have questions, please comment. I know I'm a little scattered and I'm all over the place, there's lots of energies going on and I'm burning sage like 24/7, trying to stay optimistic and clear. But knowing that we have support from the universe amid these challenges and these problems that it's thrown our way is important. Venus goes out of bounds. And she goes out of bounds for 2 months. It begins April 3rd to June 2nd. Venus goes out of bounds. So Venus going out of bounds, Venus is benevolent. Venus, even when she squares something, I've never read a negative thing about a Venus square. No shit. Venus going out of bounds, let's talk about what we know it means. She goes extreme, right? Well, Venus means peace. Venus is abundance. Venus is beauty. Venus likes things to be she wants things that look good, things that taste good. Venus is about what I desire. Venus is about what I value. Venus is about my love, my relationships. That is Venus energy. So now if she goes out of bounds from April all the way till June, we have her extra abundance and energy at our disposal. Okay? I kept looking at the astrology around this time and I kept thinking, something big is coming. Just, to give the details of what that would be, I have no idea. Like my specialty is looking at individual charts, not so much. I don't look at the whole global thing as much. Miss A is really good with that. I kept thinking, why are we going to need all this extra love, all this extra support, all this extra abundance? What's going to happen? And then Mercury is information and communication, right? May 15th to June 11th. Is when Mercury does the overlapping out of bounds. There is also one other date that I had written down that I thought was very telling, and it's March 20th to March 24th. There's going to be a lot of other things going on, but at that time, we have Mercury trining the North and the South node. This happens at 4:31, between 4:31 and 3:46. And the South node Mercury will be in Pisces, by the way. So it's a trine and a sextile. Mercury is going to be in Pisces at 4:31, and of course, that's in your first house. And the North Node is going to be in Cancer, so that is going to be good news. That's going to be good news coming by the way of your 5th house. That's children, fun, joy, creativity. And then we have the transiting South Node in Capricorn. Now we know where that is, right? In your 11th house. And so that is a beautiful sextile coming from Pisces. So that's adds ease to the 11th house. It adds ease to advancements for humanity. That adds ease to your group energy. And then when you have the trine, when the Pisces trining the node at 4 degrees in Cancer, and that being in your 5th house, this is romance, this is risk, taking a risk. This is the house of gambling. Does that mean go play the lottery that day? Well, shit, I'd go put $1 in and I don't play ever, because you've got Mercury, which is information and communication, sending a sweet trine to your 5th house. And that's, again, check the degrees, because depending upon your chart, you may have that 4 degrees. It might slip into your 4th house. If you don't know, comment below and I'll hook you up. I hope this has put some light upon your path. Take care. Bye.